Good evening. This is QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studios on Keraba Avenue. I am Asma Uba. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. The 64th Ordinary Summit of ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government in Abuja, Nigeria, calls on Gambia to speed its constitutional reforms and further extends the economic mission in the Gambia. A Gambian three-time TEDx speaker who has trained over 10,000 promising young leaders, innovators and entrepreneurs across Africa is in the country to inspire and increase the skills of more young people across the country. And from the ongoing COP28 in Dubai, we hear from young people, including some on the dedicated Youth Day. And in international news, the Gambia has no mountains, but today, on International Mountain Day, we hear why we should care about mountains around the world. In sports news, we head to Farafenni for the 10th edition of the Farafenni Marathon, which featured both sports and cultural performances. Those and other stories coming up. Do stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. Now, at the just ended 64th ECOWAS Ordinary Summit of Heads of State and Governments in Abuja, Nigeria, sub-regional leaders urged the government of the Gambia and stakeholders to expedite the adoption of the new constitution ahead of the 2026 general elections. As Alusisa reports, the authority also extended ECOMEC's mandate for another year.
ECOWAS leaders, including President Adama Barrow of the Gambia, met in Abuja, Nigeria on Sunday for a summit centered on the political and security situation within the sub-region. The day's summit was convened under the current chairmanship of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Nigerian president. In a final communique read out by Dr. Omar Aliu Toure, the president of the ECOWAS Commission, at the end of the summit, the authority urged the Gambia government and stakeholders to expedite the adoption of the new constitution ahead of the 2026 general elections, as well as the implementation of the white paper on the recommendations of the Truth, Reparations and Reconciliation Commission. The authority decided to extend the mandate of ECOMEC for another 1 year and instructed the Commission to continue to support the Gambia in the implementation of the white paper and the needed defense and security reforms. In his address to the summit, President Barrow said his government continues to work in consultation with all stakeholders to nurture and safeguard the existing peaceful and stable environment in the Gambia. He used the opportunity to thank ECOWAS, ECOMEC Mission and troop contributing countries and partners for the support in maintaining peace and stability in the Gambia. Also, he encourages ECOWAS to continue accompanying the Gambia in its effort for sustainable peace and security in the Smiling Coast. I reassured this summit that we are devoted to implementing reform programs that enhance effective performance, operational efficiency and judicious financial management to attain our national goals and targets. Importantly also, implementation of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission recommendations is on course, said President Barrow. On Guinea-Bissau, the summit strongly condemned the latest violence in Bissau and all attempts to disrupt the constitutional order and rule of law in Guinea-Bissau. The authority commended the action of the loyal forces of Guinea-Bissau and expressed full solidarity with Guinea-Bissau. The authority decided to further extend the ECOWAS Stabilization Support Mission in Guinea-Bissau. Similarly, the authority condemned the recent violence in Sierra Leone, which led to loss of lives and destruction of property. It directed the ECOWAS Commission to facilitate the deployment of an ECOWAS security mission to Sierra Leone to help stabilize the country. In Senegal, the authority noted preparations towards the presidential election in February 2024 and urged the government of Senegal and stakeholders in the electoral processes to continue to prioritize inclusivity and transparency on the conduct of the election. On the fight against terrorism and other security challenges, the sub-regional leaders pledged their commitment to addressing these menaces through the activation of the regional counter-terrorism forces. On Niger, the authority deplored the continued detention of ousted President Mohamed Bazoum, his family and associates by the military. The authority also deplored the lack of cooperation from the Niger junta to restore constitutional order. Consequently, the authority called for the immediate release of Bazoum and associates. The authority decided to set up a committee of heads of state made up of the presidents of Sierra Leone, Togo and Benin to engage the junta in Niger and other stakeholders with a view to agreeing on a set transition roadmap, establishing a transition organs as well as facilitating the setting up of a transition monitoring and evaluation mechanism towards the speedy restoration of constitutional order. Based on the progress made, the authority will ease sanctions on Niger. The authority directed member states to exempt transitional presidents, prime ministers, and foreign ministers of the member states in transition from the travel ban and other targeted individual sanctions imposed on Mali, Guinea, and Burkina Faso. The authority rejects all forms of alignment or alliance that seek to divide the region and promote foreign interests in the region. In Liberia, the authority commended the people of Liberia for peaceful and credible elections. The authority welcomed the peaceful resolution of the electoral disputes in the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the peaceful outcome of the dialogue between the opposition and government in Sierra Leone. The authority reaffirms its commitment to the promotion of peace, democracy, and good governance and urges member states to uphold the tenets of the ECOWAS protocol relating to the mechanism of conflict prevention. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Now, Amadou Chiko Sissoko is a 3-time TEDx speaker who has trained over 10,000 promising young leaders, innovators, and entrepreneurs across Africa. On Friday, had a session with members of Speaker's Corner to increase the skills of more young people across the country. Lena E. Igwenyiba reports.
Amadou Chiko Sissoko, a Mandela Washington Young African Leadership Initiative Yearly Fellow, and the only individual in Africa to lead the business and entrepreneurship training for the Young African Leaders Initiative's regional leadership centers in East and West Africa, brought his wealth of knowledge to the Gambia.
If you think of the brands like QCell, QTV, it's recognized everywhere, but it creates a certain mindset in people. If you say, I work for QCell, people, there's an idea they'll have of you. That's the brand. Now, what about yourself? What image and idea are you creating in other people's minds before they meet you, or when they meet you, when they interact with you, when they finish working with you? When I think about my brand and the brand that I'm putting out, is a person who not only inspires, but challenges, teaches, and pushes people to become the best that they can be. If I sit with someone for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, I will challenge your thinking. Why? Because I'm always challenging my own thinking. I'm asking myself, how can I do better? What am I doing wrong that I need to improve? So if I tell you to be a better leader and I'm lagging behind, it means I'm a hypocrite. So my brand is not consistent. So I think everyone who wants to be someone should work on their personal brand.
Sissoko passionately implored young leaders to not just dream, but to set their sights on greatness in their chosen fields. He further encouraged them to embark on journeys fueled by ambition, determination, and the unwavering belief that they can achieve remarkable heights.
We are the generation that is changing Africa. I'm confident. I don't think my grandchildren are the ones who are going to change Africa. I'm changing Africa. I've changed Africa, right? Now that I've changed Africa, how do I sustain that change, right? And it's through things like this, is being consistent, that we are the generation changing Africa. Stop thinking that you have a role to play. You have a role to play. The one who's watching, you have a role to play. We all are already here, right? Why are we going to wait for 20 years for things to change? So for me, we each have a role to play. If not even the majority, if 10%, 15% of Gambians play their role, the country will move.
Drawing inspiration from his life story, Chiko urged young people to boost self-confidence, take action, and strive for whatever cause matters to them.
I dropped out of 3 universities, I failed hundreds of times, and I was told I would never make it, that I had absolutely no chance. When I became the top trainer in Africa, my assistants had PhDs, right? Why? Because I believed in myself. Every time someone would tell you something that you can't, there's a part of you that should be like, I can, I will, and I must. And then you keep pushing. Now, along the way, you have to develop your skills. You have to learn. You have to become a better person tomorrow than you are today. Because it's not just by chance that you're going to become that. You have to believe in yourself. So don't doubt your own dreams. Never criticize yourself, and never underestimate what you can bring to the Gambia, to your family, and to the world.
Empowered and motivated youth, equipped with leadership skills, can contribute to increased innovation, entrepreneurship, and positive social change. With mentors like Amadou Chiko Sissoko, ready to nurture the next generation of African leaders, the possibilities are boundless. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena E. Gwenyiba.
Young people call for inclusive decision-making processes in commemoration of Youth Day at COP28. Jenna Bosonko engaged Gambian youth attending the conference, and this is her report.
The climate change crisis intensifies, and the young people are taking the lead in the advocacy by forming alliances. The world is home to 1.8 billion young people aged 10 to 24, the largest generation of youth in history with an uncertain future. The COP28 presidency urges improved global climate education so that future generations are equipped to unlock the opportunity of a just transition. A just transition involves maximizing the social and economic opportunities of climate action while minimizing and carefully managing any challenges, including through effective social dialogue amongst all groups impacted and respect for fundamental labor principles and rights. Kitandera, Acting Executive Secretary, African Youth Commission, shares his reflections on Youth Day at COP28.
Really excited that Youth Day is a day that is focused on the COP28, and we want to see that it is not just a day for the youth, but we want to see the COP becoming more youthful in the sense that many negotiators are being given the opportunity to have youth at the center of negotiation.
A global study conducted by the UNDP in 2021, targeting 10,000 youth from 10 countries, found that over 50% of young people felt sad, anxious, angry, powerless, helpless and guilty about climate change, while 45% said their feelings negatively affected their daily lives. Abisane is the Gambia's youngest climate change negotiator.
Representing the voices of youth, this is not something that is only for negotiation purposes also, but the inclusiveness of youth. Our voices really plays a key important role, and this is the reason why I say as a woman and as a youth leader in the climate space, it is very important for every other person, and then I will urge each and every one of my fellow young Gambians to also take this bold step to fight for their right, to fight for their country.
Finance is one of the major challenges affecting young people's ability to raise awareness and build their capacities. On Youth Day, the UAE announced a new $220 million funding package for Africa to help drive better health outcomes for youth. Here is Abdullah Singate from Clean Earth, Gambia.
So we're calling on government, we're calling on donors and stakeholders to see that there are allocations in terms of these practical measures that will help young people and even the people that are there to deliver these services to have enough resources. Because today, if you go to the Ministry of Environment or you go to the National Disaster Management Agency, their first cry will be, we don't have enough resources. So where are the resources? We need to make sure that these resources are properly allocated so that proper actions can be taken. We are calling, if the resources are available, make sure they are placed at the right position.
38 countries agreed to sign the UNESCO Greening Education Partnership Declaration, committing to incorporate climate education into nationally determined contributions and national adaptation plans. Reporting for QTV News from UAE, Dubai, I am Jennifer Sonko.
We will now go for a commercial break, but when we return, we have more national, international and sports news stories for you. Don't go away.
For all your electronic cooking utensil needs, worry no more. Deka Killer Jongoma Kitchen is the solution. Deka Killer brings modern, efficient and affordable cooking materials such as gas cookers, heaters, coffee machines, fridges, ceiling and stand fans, among other valuable home and restaurant materials. Located at Serekunda Bambo opposite Sanchaba Garas, Deka Killer is making fun life easier by offering you guaranteed and cost-effective electronic cooking materials. You can contact us on 348-2307 or 728-5372. We are also on Facebook, Deka Killer The Gambia. Email dekakillergambia@gmail.com. Deka Killer Jongoma Kitchen is the solution for all your home appliances and electronic cooking utensil needs. Roast now, Deka Killer making fun life easier. Deka Killer everything for cooking. Deka Killer is the right place to be.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. 5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected, juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News and I am Asma Uba. Now, in the early morning of Monday, a fire broke out which has left a family in Bundung in shock at the devastation caused. Although no life has been lost, the fire engulfed 3 rooms and a local pharmacy, burning bedding, clothing, shoes and cars amounting to an estimated more than $100,000. QTV's Mumutalamin Joy has the rest of that story.
A fire has left this family in Bundung devastated and in great pain as their property got destroyed in the blaze. From valuable shelter to a huge amount of cash, the fire victims are left counting losses that were consumed by the raging fire. Paulina Mendy, who is a victim and eyewitness to the tragic fire outbreak, and Robert T. Mendy, the family head, give their account of the incident.
I woke up and prepared my children to go to school. As I was coming from fetching water, one child ran to me saying that our house caught fire. I poured the water I was carrying to the fire, but it raged even more and went out of control. That was when I called out for help from our neighbors. All our bedding and clothing have been burned by the fire.
We cannot forget. We cannot. It's going to affect us for a long time. It's going to affect us for a long time, unless somebody come and be on our side and help. Otherwise, we are going to be. It's going to affect us for a long time. Yeah, this is going to affect us for a long time because this where we normally when we collect, when the parents pay, normally anyway the rent is fair, but in this where when we collect, we help our family. Yeah.
Here is a partially burnt bundle of cash amounting to $80,000. The owner, a widow, Marie Gomez, watches over the money in tears and disbelief after she had been called from work that her room had been engulfed by fire. Paulina Mendy also experienced a similar loss.
My husband, who passed away a year ago, was constructing a house which is unfinished. On Saturday, the contractor demanded money for construction work. I withdrew over $80,000, from which I paid some family needs and kept the balance in the house, waiting to pay the contractor today. When I ran to the house, I found all of it was burned. Right now, I am left thinking about where to sleep with my children. This is the pain that I am currently going through. I saved $40,000 in the house. This is aside from the money my husband kept in the room, which I don't know the amount.
This local pharmacy has also not been spared by the devastating fire outbreak. The owner is Bakari Njai.
So we called the fire ambulance to come and rescue us, but they came though, but very late. This pharmacy has been here for almost 4 years. I have done a lot there. The damage, I cannot tell exactly, but I know it's a huge amount of money. I spent a lot of money here before the pharmacy was established. It was a small pharmacy before I came here, but right now it's very developed. But I cannot estimate how much is there, but it's a lot of money.
The cause of the fire has not been established by the time of this broadcast. Some reports are suggesting it was an electrical fault. The fire victims are now appealing to government and philanthropists to come to their aid in their moment of pain and hopelessness. Mahmoud Lamin, QTV News.
Such an unfortunate situation there. We hope and pray they have all the support they need to get back on their feet. From that story, we take a look at international news. Now, as the world celebrates International Mountain Day on December 11th each year, we take a look at how the day is commemorated in most countries and how human action is impacting mountains. Here is Antumane Isonyasi to tell us more.
Celebrated annually on 11 December, International Mountain Day is commemorated around the world to raise awareness about the importance of mountains to life, to highlight the opportunities and constraints in mountain development, and to build alliances that will bring positive change to people living in mountainous areas and environments around the world. The day has been observed since 2003 through various activities, but most popularly hiking, while the elderly in these mountainous countries mostly commemorate the day by engaging in hill walking. And many young people plan trips to the mountains as getaways from the hustle and bustle of the cities. Mountains are natural elevations of the Earth's surface, rising more or less abruptly to a summit and attaining an altitude greater than that of a hill, usually greater than 2,000 feet, equivalent to 610 meters. Unlike several countries on the continent, the Gambia's terrain is dominantly floodplain, flanked on both banks by low laterite hills. Over 78% of the Gambia is below 20 meters above sea level, and nowhere in the Gambia's elevation greater than 60 meters. However, the African continent is home to several impressive mountain ranges, including the rugged beauty of the Atlas Mountains and the snow-capped peaks of Rwenzori Mountains in Uganda. Interestingly, Africa's highest peak, Mount Kilimanjaro, is not part of a range, but a volcano, making it the tallest freestanding mountain in the world. While mountains provide some of the world's most beautiful natural scenery and home to 15% of the world's population, as well as about half of the world's biodiversity hotspots and freshwater for everyday life, there is growing concern among climate activists, especially in the wake of a research by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which revealed that a greater number of mountains on the continent face extinction in the near future due to climate change. Of the 20 plant species that supply at least 80% of the world's food, 6 are said to have originated and diversified in mountains. This includes maize, potatoes, barley, tomatoes, and apples. Activists are also using the day to call on governments to protect mountain ecosystems that are under threat from pollution and human-induced disasters. As the world commemorates the day, here is a list of Africa's tallest and 5 most iconic mountains. Mount Baker in Uganda, 4,844 meters tall. Mount Speke, also in Uganda, at 4,890 meters tall. Mount Stanley, also in Uganda and Democratic Republic of Congo, at 5,109 meters tall. Mount Kenya in Kenya at 5,199 meters tall. And at number 5, also the tallest, Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania at 5,895 meters tall. In our sub-region, at 1,945 meters tall, Mount Bintumani in Sierra Leone is the highest peak in West Africa. Answana Isonyasi for KTV News.
From international, let's now take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. Now, the 10th edition of the Farafenni Marathon run was a spectacular event with both sports and cultural performances on display. Our sports reporter Mamadou Gajaga watched it all and he now reports.
Cultural performances by various groups sparked the 10th edition of the Farafenni Marathon run, which is commemorated annually. This year, in memory of Aliou K. Jammeh, a former Minister of Youth and Sports and ambassador who passed away earlier this year. Athletes compete in various categories of competitions, such as the 21-kilometer half marathon, 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers, walk race, and 25-kilometer cycling race. Etienne Obega, fresh from winning the FH Marathon 2 weeks ago, shunned again, winning the 21 kilometers in a timing of 1 hour 17 minutes. He shared his joy after reaching the finish line.
I'm thanking the organizing committee for organizing it. This is my second time coming here, obviously.
And it's back-to-back? You won it the last time again?
Yes, I won it the last time again.
Does that make it special?
Yes, and I will want to continue winning.
Nyima Kamara, an established name in women's middle and long-distance running in the Gambia, after sparking in the 10-kilometer category in the FH Marathon, won the women's 21 kilometers with ease. Despite finishing first, she is not pleased with her timing.
This 21 kilometer was not easy because we were running against wind. Yeah, because I cannot even make it towards my time. Today I ran it 1 hour 37 minutes and my best time in 21 kilometer was 1 hour 22 seconds.
Krubali, came out in pole position in the 10-kilometer category for women, while Laming Bojang came first in the 25-kilometer cycling race. Both say they won due to hard training.
Yeah.
Yusufa Jame, chairman of the Farafenni Marathon Run Association, says the event was a success and added that it was fitting to remember Aliou K. Jame, his late brother.
Farafenni, we are not only just celebrating or remembering Aliou Jame today. We are celebrating and remembering everybody who has contributed towards this. But we are also celebrating biasly Upper Badibu. We are celebrating Farafenni. But at large, we are celebrating the Gambia that is there to all of us at heart. And then my message is let's come together as youths of Farafenni, of the Gambia. Let's keep pushing. Nobody's going to do it for us.
The Farafenni Marathon Run Association partnered with many institutions to make the event a success. Among them, Ajib Bank Gambia Limited, who are on the verge of opening a new branch in Farafenni. Moro Sawane, head of retail banking at Ajib Bank, says as a corporate institution, they are delighted with the partnership.
This is just Assalamu alaikum in Farafenni. Ajib is about to open a branch in Farafenni. So this is just a start. We expect to do a lot of this kind because we feel government alone cannot do everything. The private sector has a role.
Winners were awarded cash prizes ranging from $15,000, $10,000 and $5,000 amongst other prizes. The event seems to be going from strength to strength and is popular with spectators and competitors. Mumudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Well, I'm afraid that's all we have for you on this news bulletin, but before we go, a recap of the news headlines. The 64th Ordinary Summit of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government in Abuja, Nigeria, has called on Gambia to speed its constitutional reforms and further extended the economic mission in the Gambia. The Gambian three-time TEDx speaker, who has trained over 10,000 promising young leaders, innovators and entrepreneurs across Africa, is in the country to inspire and increase the skills of more young people across the country. And from the ongoing COP28 in Dubai, we heard from young people, including some on the dedicated Youth Day. In international news, the Gambia has no mountain, but today on International Mountain Day, we heard why we should care about our mountains around the world. And in sports news, we headed to Farafenni for the 10th edition of the Farafenni Marathon, which featured both sports and cultural performances. Well, that's all we have for you on this news bulletin. Join us tonight again at 10 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching and have a great evening.